Washington Grown is brought to you by the potato farmers of Washington. Learn why Washington is home to the world's most productive potato fields and farmers by visiting potatoes.com. Also brought to you by Northwest Farm Credit Services, supporting agriculture and rural communities with reliable, consistent credit and financial services today and tomorrow. And by the Washington Turfgrass Seed Commission, helping our farmers produce the highest quality turfgrass seed in the world.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goranson and welcome to Washington Grown. I'm here at Cheney Stadium, which is home of the Tacoma Rainiers, and fans all across the state come here to watch some baseball. And while the field here has created a lot of memories, it was also grown right here in Washington. So in this episode, we are talking about Washington Turfgrass. I'm visiting Desert Green Turfgrass Farm in Moses Lake.
I'm looking at Leonardo Messi, who makes $80 million a year, going, I hope he doesn't sprain a knee and say it's my turf. I mean, that's always running through the back of my mind.
And I'm making brisket at TT's old Iron Brewery and BBQ. This isn't for one person, is it?
Depends on how big you are.
Depends on the person.
Or how hungry you are.
Then I'm getting a special tour of Cheney Stadium in Tacoma. So this is your turf.
This is the turf, yes, exactly, yeah,
Right.
No pun intended.
All this and more today on Washington Grown. This is harder than it looks. It's a little baby pig. That's really, really good, right?
That's a little party in a little glass.
Well, hello there. Gobble, 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 gobble. Oh!
No TV bites here. I'm gonna dig in. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Today we're visiting TT's Old Iron Brewery and BBQ in Spokane Valley. Here, the smell of barbecue and a happy, upbeat atmosphere make this brewery feel like your neighbor's backyard.
Everyone's always happy, having a good time.
Easygoing, super friendly.
Kind of like coming home.
We want people to feel like when they're walking through our front doors, they're walking into their neighbor's backyard.
James Beard-nominated chef Chad White wanted to create a space that felt both familiar and fun.
This is what you would expect to see in a barbecue place.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a barbecue shack inside.
It does, right?
I mean, it's amazing. It's real barbecue food.
I came because I knew about Chef Chad and his other restaurants in town and always been a big fan, and this didn't disappoint at all.
It's like what you'd feel you would get in a backyard. There's no fuss with our barbecue.
Anywhere you go with food like this and beer, it's going to be a good time.
Chef Chad White has had an excellent career with many locations and accolades along the way, but he chose to come back to his hometown.
You know, there was something about going back where you're from when you're old enough to appreciate it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
so that's really what brought me back to Spokane. But the community in Washington, a bit different than what I experienced when I was in California. Everyone comes together to support each other, and I think that's like the big thing about Washington. So the big thing for us is trying to support local as much as possible. This is where we live, and we want to play and spend our money here. It just kind of helps us really stay true to our locale and support our community.
Later in the show, Chad and I will make TT's famous brisket. Wait, I'm cutting this thing
Oh yeah.
into that thing.
Yep.
Oh dear Lord.
It's gonna be great.
Today I'm in Moses Lake, and what you're looking at isn't a football field or golf course, but it's likely going to be. I'm talking with Nathan Cox, turfgrass farmer.
The climate here is pretty much ideal for blue ryegrass, bentgrass, fescues, and we got water.
Chances are, if you're a sports fan, you've seen Nathan's turfgrass. He supplies it to some of the largest athletic venues in Washington and beyond. Is there a sense of pride for you when you're maybe at these events seeing your turf?
Obviously, there's a little bit of pride. It's more scary for me because I'm looking at Leonardo Messi, who makes $80 million a year, going, I hope he doesn't sprain a knee and say it's my turf. I mean, that's always running through the back of my mind. My grandpa was a farmer. He had 5 boys. They all were farmers. My dad was a farmer. I started off in irrigation, started growing grass seed, and I loved everything about it except swathing it at night and getting eaten by mosquitoes. So that was about 15 years ago. I just kind of took off from that.
So tell me about the grass that we're standing on now.
So this is our ready play grass. So we plant it in the fall and then we grow it up. We start mowing it right away at 5/8. 14, 16 months kind of ideal.
Where do you get the seed for your turf?
So most all of our bluegrass seeds come from Washington and just right down the road. So you know the guys that are producing it. So, you know, that seed looks really nice, it's clean.
What would be some advice for people who are gonna see this and then they're gonna look at their own lawns and go, what do I do?
The best way to take care of a good yard is your irrigation system, number one. You need to have good soils underneath of it. The next best thing that I can tell people to keep a good yard is mower blades being sharp.
How often do you mow it?
We're mowing it usually every other day.
It takes a special harvester to harvest turf grass.
Basically the way it's set is it's got a roller on the front of it. It's got a blade that's adjustable and everything's ran by computer in there, and you can set up how you want your pallet stacked.
Next, we visit the field where they grow special grass for putting greens. Where's our putter?
Yeah, you should have brought it. If you look real close, this is the original grow-in. We start top dressing it pretty regular, and so this has been built up.
Putting sand.
Putting sand,
on top.
So that the water goes through it still, so when the customer gets it, firmness will be there, so the golf ball will bounce the right way on it.
Putting greens have a special harvester as well.
It's just a cutting blade, 2 units, they're independent. They're both floating heads, so you get an even cut. Hit that first conveyor, it hits the second conveyor, and there's netting around the pipe, so as soon as it hits it, it's all done by speeds of 2 conveyors. And once it gets to the length, they cut it off and we load up on a truck.
Yeah. Today, Nathan is installing a putting green near his house as a demonstration for customers. It's all hands on deck, including me.
And you're just gonna keep wadding that up into your hand.
Okay. I kept getting stuck on my button.
Oh, yeah.
So I had just one last question for Nathan. There is no dog poop out here, or dandelions.
Yeah. Dandelions are everywhere, so you have to spray. I've seen them out here, I promise you. And I've seen dog poop out here too.
Hey, let's go. On a scale from 1 to 5, what's your spice level for Thai food? I'm usually about a 3, maybe a 2. But here at this cute little Thai food truck, no matter the spice level, everything is a 10 out of 10.
I opened this truck in 2003.
Owner Sumali Somerville has a passion for feeding people fresh and flavorful food.
I love to cook. I don't like it too much, but I love to cook for give the people, you know.
Today, we're trying a special dish called Pad Bai Kaprao, using local chilies from the Tri-Cities.
I get the chili from my friend. She grow that one in the Side City.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought there 2 times a year, 100 pounds per time. And I put in my freezer, and very spicy.
So
yeah.
200 pounds of these dried chilies get you through the whole year.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's
but
amazing.
sometimes more if we get more busy.
Now it's time for me to try this delicious Thai dish. There's nothing more exciting than Thai food for lunch. And when I see this, oh my goodness. Wow, that chicken is oh, here comes the spice. You can hear it in my throat. You owe it to yourself to try this. That tasted amazing. But now, let's see what everyone else thinks.
Definitely tasty. Great flavors, fresh.
Vegetables are really fresh,
There's a spicy thing that I cannot describe.
A little bit of kick.
but it's not too spicy.
It's actually got a really good heat to it too.
Yeah, it's really flavorful. I can definitely taste the chilies.
Eastern Washington Thai chilies.
Yeah,
Nice.
how about that?
Yeah, seriously.
But they're making that dish sing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really good.
So this is hitting all the perfect notes that you'd look for a good lunch then.
Absolutely.
I will enjoy.
Coming up, I'm making brisket at TT's Old Iron Brewery and BBQ. Wait, I'm cutting this thing
Oh yeah.
into that thing.
Yep.
Oh dear Lord.
It's gonna be great.
And we're in the kitchen at Second Harvest trying out some farro salad with asparagus and Parmesan. We're back at TT's Old Iron Brewery and BBQ. Friendly smiles, a casual atmosphere, and of course, great barbecue make TT's a fan favorite.
Easygoing, super friendly.
Beer is great, the food's great. I've had everything on the menu and haven't been disappointed once.
I don't know if there's enough room for everything I want to eat here.
This is actually a neighborhood that I grew up in, so it's very nostalgic for us to have a barbecue restaurant here.
Chef and owner Chad White found that making good barbecue was not only rewarding, was also very popular.
We started here on Father's Day of 2019, and we fed about 1,300 people that day. And that's when we found out barbecue was really the right choice.
Really popular.
Yeah.
I came because I knew about Chef Chad and his other restaurants in town and always been a big fan, and this didn't disappoint at all.
I mean, it's amazing. It's real barbecue food.
So our barbecue is really the best of the best around the country in terms of inspiration. Our pulled pork, we really follow the kind of Carolinas. Our ribs, we're, following flavors and cooking techniques from Kansas City. Our brisket, King of Brisket is Texas, right?
I cannot tell you the last time I ran into a brisket sandwich this tender and tasty.
Brisket is amazing.
You can cut this brisket with a fork.
Brisket's hard.
And is that what we're gonna make today?
That is what we're gonna make today. I'm gonna show you how to do brisket start to finish. Hope you brought your
ready.
coffee.
Yeah.
Right?
We're
And
gonna be
if
here a
not,
while.
we've got plenty of beers.
I can't wait. Wait, I'm cutting this thing
Oh yeah.
into that thing.
Yep.
Oh dear Lord.
It's gonna be great. So
What are
this
we gonna do?
This is beef brisket.
Okay.
This is kind of like the star of the show in most barbecue restaurants.
Yeah.
This is a pre-trim brisket. This is a trim brisket, and what comes off the smoker is more like this size.
Wow.
The biggest thing about trimming a brisket is you want to remove the pieces of the meat and fat that burns.
My husband is so jealous right now.
Is he?
Oh, he loves barbecue.
It's not on my docket to make husbands jealous. All right, so then you got your point, right?
Right.
And this thing, the way it is really gonna burn off. I come in right about here and I just start to round this. And all this meat, like we're gonna end up grinding up this stuff. My pitmaster will go back through everything, pick out the good quality stuff, and that'll be for burger day tomorrow.
Burger day. This is harder than it looks. Next, we trim the fat, and then it's on to the seasoning.
Our rub is 50-50 salt and pepper, and then we do a 25% local coffee. But we wanted to go, how do we make this more Washington, right?
Sure.
How is it homegrown, and how do we continue to support our local businesses here? And so one of those things was bringing in local coffee.
I love it.
And this is a big piece of meat, right? So when I say light meat season, you're probably like, that's not really light, Chad. You want the center of the meat to also have flavor.
Now we put the brisket in the smoker.
And so this is just like opening.
Oh my gosh.
You
It's
know,
like Christmas.
a Christmas present.
That's awesome.
And some people would look at this and go like, oh, that looks burnt. Trust me, this is not
It's
burnt.
delicious.
Really, really beautiful. That'll make any barbecue enthusiast super, super happy.
Yeah. Today we're serving the brisket with some white bread, potato salad, and coleslaw.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Wow, look at that.
A feast for anyone.
This isn't for one person, is it?
Depends on how big you are.
Depends on the person.
Or how hungry you are, right?
Right. Cheers. Oh my gosh.
Not bad, huh?
It's so tender. I've never had brisket this tender before. Well, Chad, thank you so much.
Oh, thank
This
you.
is amazing.
This has
I think
been a
we should
blast.
keep eating though, right?
You don't have to tell me twice.
To get the recipe for TT's brisket, visit wagrown.com. Now I'm meeting with Katie Krasewski, a professor in the WSU Landscape Architecture program. Katie teaches the ecology class for the landscape program and also manages her own landscape design company. Can a lawn be an eco-friendly choice?
Absolutely. I 100% believe it can. I think it's like everything with the environment right now, we're just moving forward. And so designers are trying to solve ways of keeping the lawn as a central part of design of a person's yard and finding ways in which it can address some of the concerns as well and not be a hindrance, but be a solution to some of those problems.
What are some ways that people can, still keep their yards healthy and watered, but maybe not have to turn the sprinklers on every day?
That's a great question, and I think that's one of the reasons that I love landscape architecture is that there's a number of different fields that you can filter through to find solutions to a puzzle. One way that has come to my mind and just in my practice is how do we harvest stormwater in rain barrels that would ultimately go and tax our infrastructure and lead to potential flooding? How do we harvest that rainwater and use that throughout the year to irrigate our landscape and then ultimately recharge our groundwater to try and keep rain as close to the source as possible? It is a initial cost and an initial maintenance consideration, but once it's been established, like any landscape, it is just as convenient as turning on the sprinklers because it is a form of irrigation.
What are 3 tips that you would give to homeowners in regards to their lawn?
I think when you water it is incredibly important. So watering in the early morning hours before it gets hot in the summer. Harvesting rainwater. Again, it's free and it's a great way to irrigate the rest of your landscape and to keep water close to the source. And then third would be to look at your lawn and your landscape from a larger scale. So where does the water eventually drain when it is on your site? Not just looking at lawn as something to be removed from a landscape, but something that's a lot more cohesive with the design.
Coming up, I'm getting a behind-the-scenes tour of Cheney Stadium in Tacoma.
You have your helper right here.
Yeah, we got one helper. This is about the extent of what he does. Yeah, he's more of a supervisor.
I love it.
So we're here in my backyard today and I want to show you some of the tools that I think are essential to being a great gardener. So the first thing that I want to show you is a spading fork. Now a spading fork is great because it has these tines, it breaks up the soil. The other thing that you're going to want to get is a spading shovel. Now a spading shovel is the type that has this sort of head. These are made for digging holes. Now look for one that has a lightweight handle. Another thing that I always have on me is gloves. Always wear gloves when you're gardening. Now I have a bucket that I use, a little utility bucket that I use for all of my tools. It's great because you can fit things right in the middle, like I have my water here, and then I also have my hand tools inside. So this guy here is stainless steel and it's pretty heavy duty. I'm really hard on my hand tools, and so I need to make sure that I'm getting something that's gonna last me a long time. Another thing that I use all the time is some kind of like a Sharpie marker and masking tape. I use this to label all sorts of things. Now another thing that I use all the time is just general purpose knives. So I have a couple different ones that I really like. This guy has a serrated blade, which is wonderful for harvesting greens. And this guy is more of an all-purpose knife, and I use this for opening feed sacks, for cutting off the flower heads on plants. I really love using simple hand pruners like these. Now these are great because they have a locking mechanism so that you can close them, and if you have a suit with pockets like mine, you can stick these anywhere in your suit and stay safe. I do also use some small snips for little finicky things. I really love using these for herbs. Having the right tools in the garden is going to make you more efficient, and it'll make you feel like a real gardener.
Baseball is considered the great American pastime, and here at Cheney Stadium, the Tacoma Rainiers keep things classy. But beyond the games, there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
So this is your turf.
This is the turf, yes, exactly, yeah,
Right.
No pun intended.
Michael Huey is the groundskeeper for Cheney Stadium. He and his dog Taz keep the Washington-grown turf game day ready.
What is a day in the life of a turf manager?
We have a few different types of days. We've got normal maintenance days, maybe where there's nothing going on the field. We do our mowing, we do our fertilizations, our sprays, aerifications, the cultural practices. And then we have game days. So we have baseball games, we have soccer matches, and those both look a little different. But both of those days typically are about anywhere between 14 to 18-hour days. And then we also have conversion days, which are a couple days strung together where we're converting from baseball to soccer or vice versa. Those days are also very long.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you have your helper right here.
Yeah, we got one helper. This is about the extent of what he
is
does.
about the extent
Yeah,
of
he's
it.
more of a supervisor.
I love it.
Cheney Stadium is used for both the Tacoma Rainiers baseball team and the Tacoma Defiance soccer team. So the groundskeepers convert the field throughout the season.
So this is a soccer field right now. What would you have to do then to make it a baseball field?
The first thing that we'll do is find all of our baseball edges, baselines, the plate we're standing on now, and then the infield skinned area. Typically, those will just roll back up into 4-foot rolls. We'll haul that off, and then we will bring all the clay back in. Once the clay is set, then we'll get that mound void. We'll get that popped out of the ground and haul the mound back in from the parking lot. A lot of the time it happens overnight. All night long. But
the lines that we see, that's from the mowing?
That's all the mow pattern.
Yeah, the mow pattern.
Yep, all the light stripes are going away from us, all the dark stripes are coming towards us. We do use plant growth regulators, and that helps us reduce the amount of times we need to mow, or when we do mow, we're not dumping as much. For baseball, the number one most important aspect is your edges. You've got a ball coming in really quick and it hits just right on that edge. The ball needs to stay down and it needs to stay true, you know, so a player can field that.
So you can't have some uneven edges and stuff like that.
Yep. The majority of our time is spent on those edges when we're maintaining a baseball field. We're out here with shop vacs and vacuuming the edges, brooms, taking hoses and blasting out all the debris or contaminants that get into the turf. Just trying to keep it clean.
How important is what you do to the safety of the players that are out here?
It's, I would say, very important. The ball staying down for them is very important so that they can mentally just focus on fielding the ball and not have to be concerned about, is this ball gonna hop up and hit me right in the face or go over my head? More than anything, it plays highly into their confidence to be able to play and not be concerned about each step that they take. You know, they may slip or something might happen.
Do you have any tips for homeowners?
Yeah.
For lawn care?
Yeah. My yard doesn't look that great because I don't put a lot of time into it.
Right, well that's understandable for you.
Yeah, if you could airify once a year, even once every other year, or dethatch, those are pretty important just to let the turf breathe. And if you fertilize, I would say in the spring and in the fall, that will do a lot for your yard the next
year, yeah. We are in the kitchen at Second Harvest Food Bank, and we are ready for some taste testing of some recipes that we got from allrecipes.com using Washington-grown ingredients. And I am joined by my tasters today, Tomas, my co-host, and Laurent, chef and restaurant owner of Fleur de Sel. Thanks for being here.
Well, good to see you both.
Good to see you as well.
And so this episode was about Turfgrass, which was really interesting because Washington is like leading the way with turfgrass, and you can find this specialty grass that's grown here in Washington on soccer fields and football fields and golf courses and just some pretty incredible places, and proud to be Washington, right?
I was worried that we were going to eat the grass, but you know.
We're not going to eat grass, but we're going to talk about maybe something that we can eat while we're sitting on the grass,
like a picnic.
Having a picnic.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And enjoying the lovely grass because it keeps us cool, it's comfortable. I mean, who doesn't want to just enjoy some time
What do
and
you
have
take
a picnic?
for picnic, Thomas?
Oh, I've got to have some sort of fruit, like a watermelon or sliced apples or something that's nice and cool and refreshing.
Be so healthy.
I know. I was thinking about wine.
That
first.
was the first thing that I was thinking.
Maybe a charcuterie, you know, some cold cuts, some cheese, a baguette.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a salad, maybe a salad.
I'm going to be on his picnic. This recipe that we're going to tell you about is called farro salad with asparagus and Parmesan. This is by Duncan from allrecipes.com, and Duncan says, a light and delicious way to get your whole grains, which is a good thing. Perfect salad for picnics, baby showers, bridal showers, or just because. So farro salad with asparagus and Parmesan. Let's see how we make it. Looks good. It's a beautiful salad, right?
Look at so that. Pretty, so summer-like.
It
is. It invites you to go to a picnic.
Perfectly.
On that beautiful turf grass.
So colorful. The farro is delicious.
Farro is good, yeah. It reminds me of almost like some barley could be like this.
You're right.
A little chewy. But I like the flavors of all the fresh vegetables. You know, those cherry tomatoes are great. The asparagus are great.
It's really summery.
Fresh herbs, some parsley. It's delicious.
So one of the comments, Krabby, says, I made it with barley instead of farro and added tangerine sections for color. I bet that.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I bet that was really good. Just a little
Picked up
tang.
the acidity a little bit. That was nice.
That's right. And then another comment from Barb the Bee. Barb says, I was a bit hesitant about having never cooked or used farro. However, it was really delicious. The chewy, nutty texture of the cooked farro was wonderful. I agree with her on that.
Yeah.
So good.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Nice job. I mean, this is fantastic.
It is good.
Are we ready for our picnic?
Yeah. Let's go.
And this was the recipe by Duncan. Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you. Duncan.
To get the recipe for farro salad with asparagus and Parmesan, visit wagrown.com.
So the next time you're at a baseball game, watching your favorite team, think of all the meticulous hard work that goes into growing and taking care of these fields. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. We'll see you next time.